Hey guys, thanks for coming out today. Obviously, we're sitting here at
2-13,
and not where we want to be. Nobody's happy about it. Ownership, Dave's, me, coaches, people in the building, the fans, and I understand that. What we're going to do the rest of the week is, do self-evaluation on the roster, personnel, and try to find solutions as we move forward. These last two games. So that's what we'll focus on this week. The guys came in, had a good day of practice today, lifted, had meetings, and we'll start circling up with the coaches tomorrow and the rest of the week, and see how we can look to turn the ship as we go forward the rest of the season.
Hello YouTube, how you doing? It's been a little bit. I can't remember the last time I made a video. I think it was like 2 weeks ago maybe. But welcome back. Reason why I've been gone, if anyone cares, is that just haven't really been feeling like making a video on this team for obvious reasons. You see the product that's on the field. We are clearly not trying our best to win games. And honestly, it might be the best thing for us. Let's talk about it for a little bit. So, I was just like, I guess, maybe kept the same sentiment as a lot of older fans, I would assume, that are used to the team never, used to have the pride to not want to tank. Like, we're the Giants. We're a cornerstone franchise. We don't need to tank. We just simply need to play hard and play better. But that might be a little too antiquated of a thought process to have. Maybe tanking is the right thing to do, as crazy as that sounds. And I don't mean like blatant, overt tanking, but sort of sneaky tanking, which I think is what we're doing. I mean, look, the team... the team needs to go into one direction, and this team has not been going into one direction ever since the new regime got here, and I'll kind of explain why. Look, 2022, excuse me. All right, 2022, we get Brian Daboll, we get Joe Schoen. Clearly, this is expected to be a rebuild year. We're not expected to do anything right. This is supposed to be a throw things at the wall. Let's see what sticks, and what doesn't stick, we get rid of. Consolidate, refresh, rebuild. But we mess around and win a lot of close games, and 9 wins, and eventually go to the playoffs and win a playoff game. Then get blown out by the Eagles in the second round. And I will completely admit, me being a young fan, me not really understanding how these things work, I didn't see the big picture. I was like, okay, well, the guy that allegedly fixed Josh Allen may have fixed Daniel Jones, which means even with a year, and in a year where we're throwing to Richie James and Bellinger, and had practice squad people all over the field, we're still winning games, and we just won a playoff game. This guy, Brian Daboll, he's finally the coach we've been waiting for. We're going to win 12 games next year. We all know what happened. I don't know the schematics. I don't know the ins and outs, the X's and O's. I don't know if Brian Daboll changed the offense to kind of take the training wheels off, to maybe, give it more of a high risk, high reward sort of aspect to it. I'm not sure, open it up. I'm not sure if that's what happened or not. I don't know what happened, but 40-0 versus the Cowboys at home, opening day, was the beginning of the end. So I guess that brings me to Joe Schoen. I understand why people want Joe Schoen fired, because the better decision would probably have been Not even sign Jones. Just let Jones walk. Let him, like, whatever. They were right to not pick up his 5th-year option. Just let him walk. See what happens. If no one wants him, he'll come back here and we'll sign him to a minimum or whatever. However it works. We can look at some of the best players on the team, aka McKinney. We can sign McKinney. We could obviously sign Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, which they ended up doing. And maybe we can even sign Saquon and just go find a quarterback. And then run it back with the same team, upgrade a little bit on the outsides, upgrade a little bit on the insides, talking about the lines, and just have a better quarterback and go from there. Maybe we could have been in the draft able to get Jaden Daniels or Drake May. Maybe even Caleb Williams. I know how bad he looks, but it is the Bears. They're just as bad as us at building quarterbacks. So who knows? Who knows what Caleb Williams would look under Brian Daboll? I don't know. Maybe he looked better, but could have been our choice on one of these top quarterbacks. Even we could have had, J.J. McCarthy and Penix. I know we could have drafted them, probably should have, but we didn't because we already had one on the roster. I guess they didn't believe that they would have been that much better than Jones, which I don't know if that's true or not. Probably not. But I understand what they were thinking. So because of that playoff win, it sort of delayed the rebuild. And because of what we saw in 2023, drastic moves had to be made, a.k.a. Barkley is let go, McKinney is let go, and eventually, what's his name? His name's escaping me, but he went to the Seahawks. We traded him for like a 3rd-round pick, I think. Leonard Williams. So because of the failure of 2023, that's when certain moves were made that I think people started to really be turned off with Schoen about. And I get it. 2022 was really when the rebuild really didn't start until Daniel Jones was off the team. Unfortunately, it took them an extra year to see that. And I think they knew, with evidence that I could point out, that they knew that Jones wasn't that good. Still, why would you pay him for a 2-year, maybe not contract? That's a great question. Obviously, it backfired, and obviously it's caused us to really, really take a massive step back before we take that step forward, I believe. We are currently at that massive step back. As you can see right here, we currently have the 1st pick in the draft. So, do you believe that Shane's the right GM to find the right quarterback? Well, you have to think. Has Joe Schoen ever drafted a quarterback? Was he not part of the staff that helped draft Josh Allen? So you have to think about that. I don't think obviously we've seen that he's not good at drafting linemen with Evan Neal and Azudu and whoever else we got. I think we can see he's not good at drafting linemen. He's good at signing them, not good at drafting them. JMS might also be a miss. Who knows? So we definitely have some things to look at there. But we haven't seen him draft a quarterback yet. Based on the offseason that we've seen in Hard Knocks with both him and Brian Daboll, they were looking at Jaden Daniels, who we see clearly he was a hit. That's the quarterback they wanted. And if they were in position, they would have got him. And we wouldn't even be talking about all this. But it didn't work out that way. Because of that playoff win and because of the Jones contract, it delayed the rebuild for at least 2 years, maybe even 3. And basically set us back. So what should have been already done is now being done this season. This season is what 2022 should have been in their eyes. It took us a couple years, but we are finally here. This is honestly what 2023 should have been. But Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito made us win too many games. At least we got neighbors, but still. The rebuild was delayed. And if you want to put that on Joe Schoen, I understand, because he was the one in charge. The Jones contract definitely made that, forced some players to not have to be here anymore. It's true. It happened, and here it is. Even though they paid Jones, I don't believe because of the language of the contract, I think they knew that there was a possibility things could go wrong. I guess your argument, if you want him fired, would be, well, if they knew things could possibly go wrong, why even take the risk? I got you. It was a bad risk. Even if it really was a risk, it was a bad risk. It backfired and it basically set the team back. I still don't want to fire Shane because that last draft was so good. Newman, Phillips, Neighbors, Tyrone Tracy especially. I mean, come on. So I'm not ready to fire the dude. Now, Brian Daboll, on the other hand, I wouldn't mind if he left because we've seen his coaching resume. It's at the end of all my videos, at least the last few. Any quarterback that he was with outside of Josh Allen, with the help of quarterback coach Ken Dorsey, he has failed to develop, and the offense was never 15th or above. It was always worse under every other quarterback. I think with a simple search on ProFootballReference.com, there's no way Brian Daboll would have been hired. But unfortunately, it happens. And if that was Shane that fired him, then that's even a greater reason why Shane should be fired. Or if Shane hired him, that's another reason why Shane should be fired. But if it was Mara that did it, you know, what do we expect? Mara has never been good at picking coaches. Either way, bad decisions all around with this franchise, which is nothing new. With that being said, is John Mara going to get rid of these guys? My gut's telling me no. And that's why I'm not on here yelling anymore, because what's the point? I can yell and scream all I want. Daboll's probably still going to be here. Shane's probably still going to be here. No matter what reasons we have why they should. No matter how many planes fly, no matter how many bags are on our heads every home game. I just don't think it matters. They're going to be here next season. John Mara's probably going to let them draft their quarterback. You know, sort of like, okay, we messed up with Jones. It's on you guys. Pick the guy. Turn this thing around. And hopefully that's what happens. The top two quarterbacks, in most people's eyes, coming out of this year's draft are Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. I'm not sure where you have them, one or two. Me personally, I got Shedeur over Cam Ward just because I've seen more of his games. I've seen Shedeur work behind a bad offensive line with less than stellar players around him other than like Travis Hunter and maybe someone else. I forgot the other dude's name. But I've seen him make stellar play, like amazing play after amazing play after amazing play, and be safe with the ball even under terrible circumstances or less than optimal circumstances. That kind of stuff I feel can translate to the NFL, because I understand quarterbacks that are behind lines that never show pressure, aka the Alabama SEC quarterbacks that basically never have to worry about anything. And then you get to the NFL and realize, oh, there's actually pressure here. Oh, I actually have to get rid of the ball quick. I don't have time to get the perfect throw every play. I have to find my check down, read really quick. I think those things will translate. Not to mention he's playing in a pro-style offense coached under, funny enough, Pat Shermer. So I think, and I don't know, so I think he'll translate better to the NFL. I don't know. I only watched one Cam Ward game. I can see, obviously, why people are in love with the dude. The arm talent, the size, the stature, the aura, just everything. He looks like looks like he'll be a good quarterback as well. So if we drafted him, I wouldn't be mad, honestly. Either one would work to me. Me personally, I would go Shedeur, because the advice that he can get from his father, who's one of the greatest NFL players of all time, you just can't get that anywhere else. I think it's going to take that, as well as hopefully some better coaching from Daboll and whoever else we bring in to help coach this guy. It's going to take all that to make sure we don't repeat with whoever, or I guess in this case, Shedeur, what we did with Daniel Jones. We never want to repeat that. We need to finally get our quarterback so we can finally really start the rebuild. So, I don't know where you feel about it, guys. I'm just kind of like whatever at this point. I'm kind of blah. This team is really just kind of taking it all out of me. No point in getting worked up. We're the first pick in the draft for a reason. We suck. We're the worst team in the league. I've been saying that since the Panthers game. The Panthers lost. We are the worst team in the league. No more questions about it. We are head and shoulders worse than even the 3-win teams. And certainly the 4-win teams. We are that bad. And we are not winning another game. Our next game is against the Colts. Then after that, we play the Eagles. The Eagles at that point, you know, they just lost to the Commanders, so I'm not sure how the standings are. I don't know if they have to win any more games to clinch a spot, but it's possible they're playing for a spot that game. And if they are, you know we're not winning that game. Even if they sat people, I still don't think we're winning that game. So we don't have to worry about that. The way this is looking, we're the only 2-win team in the league, so we are set for the first pick in the draft. New England is not getting a quarterback. Jacksonville most likely is not getting a quarterback. Carolina probably won't, the way Bryce Young's been playing, but who knows? Jets might, but they're at 4 wins. Chicago, if they decide to pull a Chicago and draft another quarterback, they're at 4 wins, so we don't have to worry about them. Worst case scenario, we win out and they lose out. We're still tied at 4. But really, the worst case scenario is that either Tennessee, Cleveland, or Las Vegas jumps us. If we end up winning out, which I know won't happen, but if we end up winning out for some miraculous reason, we end up going beneath Tennessee, Cleveland, or Las Vegas, that will be the death knell. That'll be it. We'll be forced to reach and/or sign a bridge, and the rebuild will go another year, which I don't think they'll be able to survive. So I think for their jobs, which is probably why we're low-key tanking, for their jobs, they have to get the quarterback this draft. They can't wait. And honestly, I agree with them. They need to be in position to get a quarterback this draft, or they won't last. Because Daboll's not coaching anybody. It's a wrap. It's over. Oh, man. Yeah, what a season. What a season this is. I just hope that before I leave this earth, I can see this team compete for a Super Bowl again. I'm lucky enough to see the last 2, but I would hate to be gone before I can see the next. But that's up not to me. That's up to the Lord. But either way, I appreciate y'all. I just hope y'all have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. I probably won't make a video for the next game, but I'll probably see the next game after that, after the Eagles game maybe. And we'll kind of review the season and go on and look towards off-season stuff. Anyways, that'll be it for me. God bless you. Y'all have a great rest of the year. Thank you.
How would you evaluate Brian right now? Brian Daboll.
Yeah, again, we're
2-13.
So
put this team together. It's your roster. When you look at it from what you thought you were going into the season to now, do you look down at this personnel and say, this team is not good enough, I didn't put a good enough, I didn't give the coaches enough?
no, I don't think so. I don't think so, Paul.
So why, if the players aren't good enough, then it's got to be the coaching?
Yeah, I don't think it's.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back, it's pretty well documented. But it's like a roller coaster, and I'd like to say it won't be a roller coaster, but it probably will be again.